let me give the floor, right, to Francesca, Alessa, and Alessandro, who is online and will participate throughout the artificial intelligence. But this was the reason, you know, why we were in late. The machine, as I mentioned, not the human, the machine.
So thank you and good afternoon to all. We are Francesca, Alessandro that is online, and Alessia, me. And we are going to show you our work entitled Codesign with More Than Humans toward a meta-codesign tool for human-on-human collaboration that was developed during a PhD summer school that we attended last June. We are 3 PhD students from the design department of Politecnico di Milano, and today we are going to show what we have done now. So our brief presentation is going to start with a brief introduction and the background of our work. After that, Alessandro will talk about methodologies and tools. Then Francesca is going to show our prototype, and I will talk about what a prototype is. And then we are going to open the debate with our reflections, but also the next step that we are going to follow, and then question for you, for the audience. So, talking about introduction and background, so connecting with our title, with this more than human definition. Nowadays, we are dealing with the Anthropocene. So the Anthropocene is one definition that was given to our current epoch. So Anthropocene means that our current world is really affected by humans and the human presence. And several strategies, several initiatives are now trying to reduce our impact on Earth, for example, the Sustainable Development Goals and other kinds of initiatives. But nowadays, the mindset is more related to the human perspective. So we have a hierarchical human perspective, and our point of view is the predominant one, and also the recognition of other entities, other non-human entities, is still quite debated, because we have also to recognize that our world is not the only one, but we are dealing with a world of many words, as also in literature is defined this topic. So what does more than human means now at the moment, and how can we as humans understand that our ecology is not the only one, but is just one of the many that exist within our world. So we are talking about design in our case, because we are dealing with this discipline, and design is really having a shifting role in this complex scenario, because it allows to change our minds. So from a mainly human-centered approach to a post-human ontological shift, so a paradigm shift from a non-hierarchical interrelations between humans and non-humans, and we mean both living and non-living entities, for new collaborative futures, more democracy networks, and also interspecies collaboration. So design is shifting, is changing the mindset for, on one side, sustainable models of production and consumption, as we saw before, but also towards non-human and non-human collaborative futures. And in our case, our work is mainly related to this word, so a prototype. A prototype is the union of two words, so provocation and prototypes. And in this case, these prototypes are not a final solution, but they want to provoke new reflections, so they have to be not well-defined, they have to have some intentional gaps in order to provoke new reflections of a specific topic, and it can be implemented through discussion with an audience for a new research question to be developed, and also maybe new answers. So our research aim is to prototype, so to design a tool that could stimulate the interrelation between, in a post-human world between several entities, and also to encourage the mutual listening and multi-species collaboration. So here you can see just a few questions that we pose at the beginning. For example, how can we co-design with more than human actors, so both artificial intelligence and also other species, and also in how can we communicate with these different entities, and how can we foster this communication? Now I'm going to leave the floor to Alessandro for the methodologies.
Thank you, Alessa. As Alessia was saying, the aim of the summer school has been the development of a prototype, and the tools and the framework that we use to develop the project that you can see on the right picture fall under the umbrella of the methodology of speculative design, which is a particular branch of design that deals with long-term futures, the role of technologies in these futures, with different trends and weak signals. It is based on the principles of design fiction, of storytelling and scenario building, and on the creation of diegetic artifacts. And so its aim is to foster critical thinking and critical reflections about the futures. The tools that I'm going to show you and that have been provided to us during the summer school have been developed within the project Fuel for Design, which is a project that involves different researchers from different universities across Europe. So the first phase of the activities has been scanning and framing. The tools that we used to develop that phase have been the PESTLE analysis. PESTLE means political, economical, social, technological, legal, and environmental. So we had to produce a wide analysis regarding the topic of interest read throughout these different point of view. And then the results of this analysis have been placed on a trends timeline. The other tools used during this phase have been the future philosophical pills perspectives, and their aims. No, sorry, let's go back to the the previous one. Yeah. Okay. And the aims of this phase has been to grasp the trends, the wicked signals, and the drivers of change, and to analyze them and the topic of discussion, both from current situation and from possible future directions. So next slide, thank you. Okay, here you can see on the right the development of our PESTLE analysis and of our trends timelines. So as you can see, it's a really messy canvas. We placed on it different concepts, different trends that has been developed from previous research and from research or trends that are happening right now. And on the left, you can see a sort of sum up of the main events of our trends timeline. So we have some events related to the past, from the past to till today, and some events related to the futures. Next slide, please. So the tools of future philosophical pills and perspective are used to question and challenge our assumption and maybe some prejudice about futures, and they are also used to amplify some concepts related to possible futures. In the set of future philosophical pills and perspective, we have to choose 2 pills and 1 perspective, and we decided to pick the activism card, which means to make it happen in any way, and the posthumanism card, which imply to us to think that human are not the center of the world, and so to move away from a human-centric perspective. And then we picked the values card from the perspective cards. Then next slide, please. So passing on the second phase of the activities, we have the mapping phase, and which has been developed through the use of two tools, the 4 archetypes and the scenario development. And so here the aim was to identify possible uncertainties about the future, and again, to investigate ideas around the possible drivers of change. And again, to try to comprehend and to embrace the whole complexity and the plurality of possibilities for our future. And finally, to highlight the focus of the project. Next slide. So we used the as you can see again on the right, you see our development of the tools of the 4 archetypes, and with these tools we have been able to provide a draft, let's say, description of 4 possible future scenarios: the grow, the collapse, the discipline, and the transform scenarios. And we decided to pick the last one, so the transform scenarios. Next slide. So the last tools that we used have been the scenario development. So as I was saying before, we decided to develop a transformative scenario that we called the rights revolution of nature. So a sort of event that leads to different legal, political, social, and ecological transformation, and which results in a collaboration between human and different entities, which have been recognized to be active agents in the world. In this case, More Than Human Codesign is a tool for collective cooperation, and we see technology as a mean to create a more fluid communication between different beings. Okay, so these are the last tools that I'm going to present you, and these are the tools that we use to develop the final prototype. So we have 2 types of canvas: the canvas of prototyping, which is used in some way to prepare ourselves and to sketch the prototype in order to conceptualize it, and the future telling canvas, which helped us in the creation of an event, or it can help in the creation of a frame and the role play related to it. And now I leave the floor to Francesca for the description of the prototype.
Okay, this path and the tools described by Alessandro opened actually new reflections and allowed us also to identify new questions to put at the basis of our prototype. I would just like to quote a phrase by Jonathan Chapman, which is: "To escape the cage of our anthropocentrism could be one of the greatest challenges of our times." So we started from this phrase to identify in some way our statement. You can see up there. That is, we as humans need a change of direction, shifting the human-centric view and imagining new ways of relating to the environment in which we live. And these are the 3 main questions, let's say, at the basis of our prototype. So how to provoke people, and especially designers, of course, to change their point of view, how to encourage them to shift their perspectives, and to start a game from a thinking that is not anthropocentric, but more than human-centric, and how and where to start imagining new ways of living and relating to other species. So we started from here, and our aim was to design a prototype that can stimulate people to imagine a post-human world where there are no hierarchies between entities, as they said before, and which is based on new ways to relate each other, based on mutual listening and on multi-species cooperation. And this led us to our prototype that is based on a simulation of a fictional event which take place in 2100. The first step, of course, was to deepen the fictional scenario that that will bring to the fictional event. So here you can see just the milestones, the fictional milestones of our timeline, which will bring to our fictional event, which is the multi-species symposium. So the first multi-species symposium, let's say that formally marks a new beginning, so a new era of interspecies cooperation, where technology becomes the medium that enables the communication between species. So this is the role that we imagine for artificial intelligence and technology. And these are the premises of our fictional event. So it now has been 10 years since the beginning of the revolution of nature, and non-human entities are reconquering their legitimacy, their rights, and humans are positively trying to shift their behaviors. So the first multi-species symposium that we imagined is the first step of this radical process of bioconvergence and of communication between human and non-human. So we imagined different representatives of different species, and we tried to design this event, to simulate this event.
Today is an historical day. The first multi-species symposium is going to happen in a moment, which hosts representatives from more than 150,000 species across the whole natural realm. And it has been wanted by non-human representatives also to let humans learn how to live on the planet again. We leave now the stage to the representatives. Harmony, simple needs, balance with other beings. Roots, soil, water, branches, home, animals, leaves, wind, sun, us. Everybody, everywhere, everything. Tales of the planet, memory of the eras. Dissolve, create, feed, new biological cycles, the end, symbiosis, collaborate. It seems that we are experiencing some technical issues. The system advised me that we are not able to translate what the coral's representative is saying. We are checking for color language updates. It could take some time.
Through the development of this prototype that we tested actually at the end of the summer school, we came to new questions actually, which concern the different perception of space and time that species have, we imagine. So how would a collaboration between humans and non-humans be fostered, assuming a time and spatial comprehensive perspective? And the other main question is about the language, the different languages that different species used to communicate, and then that we actually don't have any idea of at this moment. So what are the feedback types between different species, visual, auditory, and or haptics? Coming to conclusion, what we mainly understood through the development of the prototype is the ability of this tool, this kind of tool, the prototype, to evolve from a research output to a shared and collaborative tool for co-designing. So we are now considering different ways to involve people in this kind of experience, which actually helped us as researchers to come to new questions and open new reflections, but which could be involved to make other people reflect about these kind of issues and use to collect feedbacks from the testers. So actually the main objective of this prototype could be to foster in some way a shift of perspectives and to reflect on new ways of thinking and reconsidering our role as humans, as men in the planet. Thank you. This is our references. And we would like to conclude just leaving these questions open for you. Thank you.